She never thought a quiet evening gathering crops at Willow Creek Farm would turn into a living hell. The roar of motorcycle engines shattered the peace of the harvest, and in moments Rachel Anderson would find herself surrounded by the most dangerous gang in the county. The Steel Vipers weren't known for mercy, and as their leader circled her like vulture, she could feel her heart thundering against her ribs. But what these violent men didn't know, what nobody in the farming community knew, was that they were about to learn the most brutal lesson of their lives. They thought Rachel Anderson was just another farmer's daughter they could terrorize. They never imagined they'd picked the wrong target. They had threatened a Combat Apache Pilot's only child, and some mistakes you only make once. The autumn wind whispers through the cornfields of Willow Creek Farm as the setting sun paints the sky in brilliant shades of orange and purple. Rachel Anderson moves with practiced efficiency between the rows, checking the crops before tomorrow's harvest. At 24, she carries herself with the quiet confidence of someone who has grown up working the land. Her movements precise and purposeful as she examines the golden corn stalks. The farm's main house sits a quarter-mile away, its weathered wooden frame a testament to 4 generations of Anderson family farming. A collection of harvesting equipment stands ready nearby, testament to the modern operation her father has built while preserving their agricultural heritage. Rachel pauses to make notes on her tablet, documenting crop conditions and planning tomorrow's work schedule. The first distant rumble of motorcycles seems almost innocent, barely noticeable over the rustling cornstalks. Rachel's hand pauses mid-note, her eyes lifting to scan the distant road that winds past their property. The sound grows louder, more deliberate, carrying with it an edge of menace that makes her skin prickle. Through gaps in the corn, she catches glimpses of chrome and leather as multiple bikes turn onto their private access road. The Steel Vipers appear like dark specters in the fading daylight, their chrome bikes gleaming against the sunset. 8 riders, their leather jackets adorned with coiled silver snakes, pull onto the farm's main drive in practiced formation. Their leader, Marcus Sidewinder Cruz, kills his engine first, the sudden silence more threatening than the noise. His second-in-command, Tommy Poison Rodriguez, dismounts beside him as they survey the property. Rachel watches from between the corn rows, her tablet forgotten as she observes the uninvited visitors. She recognizes their colors. Every farmer in 3 counties knows to fear the Steel Vipers. They've been terrorizing local farms, demanding protection money, destroying equipment of those who refuse to pay. Last month, the Miller family, 2 farms over, had their entire irrigation system sabotaged. The week before that, the Thompsons' barn mysteriously caught fire. Well, well, Sidewinder's voice carries across the field, dripping with false friendliness. Looks like we found ourselves some prime farming country. He gestures to his crew, who begin spreading out across the property, examining equipment with predatory interest. Rachel's mind races. Her father won't be back for hours. He's at the Veterans Support Group meeting he never misses, 60 miles. Away in the city, the farmhands left hours ago. She's alone. Poison spots her first, his tattooed arm pointing toward the cornfield. Boss, looks like we got company. Little lady's been watching us. Rachel steps out from the corn, keeping her movements calm despite her racing heart. She won't show them fear. She's Colonel James Anderson's daughter. She knows how to handle herself in crisis situations. This is private property, she calls out, her voice steady. You need to leave. Sidewinder's smile doesn't reach his eyes as he stalks toward her, boots crunching on the gravel drive. Now that's not very hospitable. We came all this way to discuss business opportunities with your family. Rachel stands her ground, remembering everything her father taught her about confrontations. Never show weakness. Control the space. Keep them talking. The only business happening here is farming, she responds firmly. If you have legitimate business proposals, you can come back during regular hours and speak with our lawyer. Sidewinder circles her slowly, his movement predatory. The other Vipers continue their inspection of the farm equipment, their intentions clear in every lingering touch on expensive machinery. "Lawyer?" Sidewinder laughs, the sound harsh in the dying light. "Sweetheart, this is about community support. Way we see it, lot of dangerous things can happen on a farm. Equipment breaks down, crops get damaged, accidents happen." He runs a hand along a nearby tractor's hydraulic line. "Be a shame if something happened to all this nice machinery." Rachel's hand tightens around her phone in her pocket, her thumb finding the emergency signal button her father insisted she always carry. One press will alert him, send her GPS coordinates, activate the farm's hidden security systems. But she waits, gathering intelligence just like she was taught. "How much?" she asks, buying time. Sidewinder's smile widens. "Smart girl. For you, let's say 10,000 a month. Farming insurance, you might say. First payment due Friday." Rachel's mind races through options. The farmhouse is too far to run. 4. The equipment barn is closer, but they've positioned themselves carefully. Her father made sure she knew how to handle situations like this, but 8 against 1. She needs to be smart. "I'll need to discuss this with my father," she says carefully, playing for time. Sidewinder steps closer, invading her space. "Your father? That would be Colonel James Anderson, right? Heard he was some kind of hotshot pilot before he decided to play farmer. Well, let me tell you something about your daddy's service. Out here it don't mean shit." Rachel presses the emergency signal, knowing that 60 miles away, her father's phone is already alerting him. What these thugs don't know is that James Anderson isn't just any combat pilot. He's one of the most decorated Apache helicopter pilots in recent military history, and he's about to teach the Steel Vipers why you never threaten a veteran's family. 60 miles away at the Greater Valley Veterans Support Center, Colonel James Anderson's hand twitches as his secure phone vibrates, with a distinct pattern. A signal he's only felt once before, during a training drill. He glances at the device, seeing Rachel's emergency alert and GPS coordinates. His weathered face betrays nothing, years of combat experience having taught him the value of maintaining composure under extreme pressure. "If you'll excuse me," he addresses the group of veterans gathered for their weekly session, his voice carrying the quiet authority earned through decades of service. "Family emergency." The other veterans, recognizing the shift in his demeanor, nod in understanding. They've all been there, all know that some situations require immediate action. In the center's parking lot, James moves with practiced efficiency toward his modified truck. To casual observers, the black Ford F-350 looks like any other farm vehicle. But like its owner, the truck's unassuming exterior masks carefully concealed capabilities. As he pulls out of the parking lot, his secure phone connects to a hidden communication system installed throughout the vehicle. Computer, access farm. Security network, authorization Anderson Alpha 7, he commands. Multiple displays light up across the truck's custom dashboard, showing live feeds from carefully hidden cameras across Willow Creek Farm. His jaw tightens as he watches the Steel Vipers circling his daughter, their intentions clear in every predatory movement. Identity scan running on visible subjects, the system announces as facial recognition software analyzes the gang members. Files begin populating the screens, criminal records, intelligence reports, threat assessments, Marcus Sidewinder Cruz, dishonorable discharge from the army, multiple assault charges, suspected ties to weapons trafficking, Tommy Poison Rodriguez, 3-time felon, known enforcer, history of escalating violence. James's phone rings, a direct line few people possess. "Anderson," he answers, recognizing the caller ID. "Jim, it's Captain Elisa Martinez from County Sheriff's Special Operations." The voice belongs to a former Apache pilot who served under him. "Just got an alert about suspicious activity at Willow. Greek, those gang members you warned us about? Affirmative, James responds, his truck pushing well above the speed limit as he navigates back roads he knows by heart. Steel Vipers, full crew, threatening my daughter. What's your response time? There's a pause before Martinez answers. Official channels, 30 minutes minimum. We're stretched thin tonight. Too long, James states flatly. They're escalating. Their pattern, Elisa. This isn't just intimidation anymore. They're getting bolder, more aggressive. He patches the live security feeds to her system, letting her see the situation developing at the farm. I'm calling in some favors. Need you to run interference with any local patrols. This ends tonight. Already on it, Martinez replies. I've got 3 other reports of Steel Viper activity across the county. They're coordinating something bigger than usual. Jim, be careful. These guys, they're not just common thugs anymore. Intelligence suggests they're working with someone bigger, someone with resources. James processes this information as he drives, his tactical mind mapping scenarios. His phone chirps again, responses from former squadron mates who owe him favors. Their replies are immediate and unanimous. They're coming. Some are local, some aren't. But they all remember what James Anderson did for them in combat zones across the world. Back at Willow Creek Farm, Rachel maintains her calm exterior as she watches the Steel Vipers examining their equipment. Through the farm's hidden cameras, James observes his daughter employing the situational awareness he's drilled into her since childhood. She's keeping the gang members talking, gathering intelligence, buying time, just like he taught her. Sir, his truck's system announces, thermal imaging detecting additional vehicles approaching the farm from the north access road. 3 SUVs. No plates. Heat signatures suggest heavily armed occupants. James's expression darkens. The Steel Vipers are bringing in reinforcements, escalating beyond their usual tactics. Martinez, he radios, we've got professionals moving in. These aren't just gang members anymore. He sends her the thermal imaging data. On his displays, he watches Rachel carefully positioning herself, maintaining sight lines, controlling the space around her just as he's trained her to do. His daughter isn't just a farmer. She's a combat pilot's child, raised to handle crisis situations. Understood, Martinez responds. Jim, this is bigger than we thought. Just got word from FBI liaison. Steel Vipers have been spotted meeting with known mercenary groups. Someone's bankrolling them, using them as muscle for something bigger. James's tactical displays highlight multiple approach vectors to the farm, marking potential threats and advantageous positions. Time to target, he asks his system. 47 minutes at current speed, it responds. Too long. On his screens, he watches the Steel Vipers continuing their intimidation, unaware that they've triggered a response they never anticipated. They think they're hunting easy prey, terrorizing a simple farming family. Instead, they've awakened a network of highly trained veterans who understand one crucial truth. You never threaten one of their own. Activate Protocol Thunder, James commands his system. Across Willow Creek Farm, hidden defensive measures begin powering up. Security systems far beyond normal civilian-grade shift to combat readiness. The Steel Vipers think they're in control of the situation. They're about to learn why certain people should never be underestimated, why certain lines should never be crossed. His phone buzzes with updates from his informal network. Former squad mates are moving into position around the county. Satellite. Imagery tracks multiple vehicles converging on Willow Creek Farm, driven by people who owe James Anderson their lives. The Steel Vipers think they're predators establishing dominance over their territory. By sunrise, they'll realize they've become prey. Sheriff's Deputy Lisa Martinez's Tactical Operations Center buzzes with unusual activity for a Thursday evening. Surveillance photos spread across multiple screens show Steel Viper members meeting with unknown figures at various locations throughout the county. This goes beyond simple extortion, she explains to her team. pointing to a particular image. 2 months ago, we started seeing them meeting with these men, private military types. They're interested in specific agricultural properties. Through her secure link to James Anderson's vehicle, she watches the situation at Willow Creek Farm deteriorating. The Steel Vipers continue their intimidation tactics, unaware they're being monitored by military-grade surveillance systems. "The gang's changed," she tells James through their encrypted channel. "New weapons, better tactics, professional training. Someone's upgraded them from common thugs to a private army. Run facial recognition on the new players," James commands from his truck, still 40 minutes out. Martinez's system highlights one of the suited figures meeting with the Steel Vipers. Match found: Marcus Blackwood, former Army intelligence, now works private sector. No one's quite sure who he's really working for. On her main display, Martinez pulls up property records for the county. Land acquisitions have tripled in the last 4 months. Shell companies, all leading back to dead ends. The Steel Vipers start threatening farmers. Property values drop. Then these companies swoop in and buy everything at cut-rate prices. She marks each acquisition on a digital map, a pattern emerging. "It's not random," James observes through their video link. "Look at the properties they're targeting. All major agricultural operations, all with significant water rights. They're creating a perimeter around something. The question is what?" Outside the operations center, motorcycle engines roar past, as Steel Vipers patrol the county roads in force, making their presence known. Martinez's system flags new movement approaching Willow Creek Farm. "Jim, we've got more players entering the field. Thermal imaging shows 3 more SUVs approaching from the east. Professional operators, military-grade gear. These aren't gang members, they're mercenaries." Through their feed, they watch Rachel Anderson maintaining her composure as she faces down the Steel Vipers, buying time as the situation grows more complex. "Pull up geological surveys," James directs, his tactical mind processing patterns. "Water tables, mineral rights, anything that might explain what they're really after." Martinez complies, databases flooding her screens with information. "There's something here," she says, highlighting anomalies. "These farms, they're all sitting on top of one of the largest underground aquifers in the state. Rights to that water would be worth millions, especially with the drought conditions predicted for the next decade." James's phone buzzes with a message from an unknown number. "Walk away, Colonel. You have no idea what you're stepping into. Take your daughter and leave the farm. Some doors shouldn't be opened." Martinez tries to trace it, but the signal bounces through too many proxies. "Whoever sent this has serious technical capabilities," she observes. "Not the Steel Vipers style. Someone higher up is getting nervous," James agrees. "The gang's just muscle. There's something bigger at play." Their conversation is interrupted as Martinez's system flags multiple incidents across the county. Steel Vipers harassing farmers, threatening local businesses, creating disturbances that stretch law enforcement resources thin. "They're trying to overwhelm us," Martinez realizes, "create enough incidents that we can't respond effectively to any of them." Through their feed, they watch more mercenaries taking up positions around Willow Creek Farm, professional operators, establishing a perimeter with military precision. "This isn't normal gang behavior," she notes. "Someone's coordinating them, using them as pieces in a larger operation." James's vehicle system calculates alternate routes as he pushes his modified truck to its limits. "The Steel Vipers are a smokescreen," he tells Martinez. "They're drawing attention while something else happens in the background. Those mercenaries, they're the real threat. Professional operators don't deploy for simple property intimidation." Martinez's phone rings, her FBI liaison with urgent news. "The Steel Vipers have called in reinforcements from other states. Could have up to 40 bikes in the county by midnight. But that's not all. We're seeing private military contractors moving in, the kind that usually operate in war zones. Whatever's happening, it's going hot tonight." Through their surveillance, they watch Rachel maintaining control of her situation, employing every technique her father taught her about handling hostile encounters. The Steel Vipers grow increasingly frustrated with her composed responses, their leader, Sidewinder, becoming visibly agitated as she refuses to show fear. "Jim," Martinez says suddenly, studying new data, "these property acquisitions, they match a pattern we've seen before. 3 other agricultural communities across the country, same scenario: gang intimidation, forced sales, private military presence. All 3 communities disappeared from records afterward. No trace of the original owners, no documentation of what happened. Just empty land and classified projects." James processes this information, his combat experience recognizing the signs of a highly coordinated black operation. They're not just after the farm, he realizes. They're after something underneath it, something worth bringing in professional contractors and erasing entire communities to hide. His phone buzzes with another anonymous message. "Last warning, Colonel. Walk away or what happens next is on you." Through their surveillance, they watch the mercenaries deploying specialized equipment around Willow Creek Farm. Hardware that doesn't show up in any civilian or standard military inventory. Whatever they're planning, Martinez warns, it's starting now. The Steel Vipers, the mercenaries, they're all moving with purpose, like they're on a timetable. The night deepens around Willow Creek Farm as forces converge from multiple directions, all focused on ground that holds secrets someone is willing to kill to protect. In a darkened office 60 miles from Willow Creek Farm, Marcus Blackwood reviews surveillance feeds across multiple monitors. His hand reaches for a secure satellite phone, dialing a number few possess. "Sir, the situation is deteriorating. The Steel Vipers are losing control, and Anderson, he's starting to connect the dots. His military background, his connections, he's a complication we didn't anticipate." The voice that responds is cultured, careful, carrying the weight of authority that comes from operating in shadows. "Colonel James Anderson's connection to the target area wasn't in any of our files. His combat experience, his network of former military operators. It changes the tactical landscape. Should we proceed with contingency measures?" Through his monitors, Blackwood watches the scene unfolding at Willow Creek Farm. The Steel Vipers circle Rachel Anderson, their intimidation tactics growing more aggressive as she maintains her composure. Behind them, professional operators continue deploying specialized equipment around the property's perimeter. The primary objective remains unchanged, Blackwood reports. "The aquifer access point is exactly where our surveys indicated. Once we have control of the property, we don't have control yet," the voice interrupts sharply. "And until we do, this conversation never happened. Keep watching. If Anderson becomes a serious problem, you have authorization for Protocol Omega." The line goes dead, leaving Blackwood to study his displays with growing concern. At Willow Creek Farm, Sidewinder grows increasingly frustrated with Rachel's controlled responses. "Listen here, farm girl," he snarls, his pretense of friendliness evaporating. "Maybe you're not understanding the situation. By sunrise, one way or another, this property won't belong to your family anymore. How that happens, that's up to you." Rachel maintains her position, carefully noting the movements of each gang member while keeping the approaching SUVs in her peripheral vision. Her father's training echoes in her mind. Analyze threats, control the space, gather intelligence. "You're not the ones in control here," she responds calmly. "You're just the muscle, following orders from people who won't get their hands dirty." Sidewinder's expression darkens dangerously. "You think you know something, little girl? Think you've got us figured out?" Behind him, Poison tenses, hand moving toward his jacket. "Boss, we got movement on the North Road. Looks like local law enforcement finally decided to show up." Through the farm's hidden surveillance system, James watches Deputy Martinez's patrol. Cars approaching with deliberate slowness, their presence forcing the Steel Vipers to modify their tactics. "Smart play, Elisa," he comments through their secure channel. "Keep them off balance." His modified truck corners through back roads at dangerous speeds, tactical displays calculating constantly updating arrival times. "Jim," Martinez responds, "we've got problems. Just got word from my FBI contact. Someone's activated a no-fly zone over the county. Military-grade electronic warfare equipment is blocking most communications. Whatever they're planning, they're trying to isolate the area completely." In his darkened office, Blackwood receives confirmation that the electronic warfare systems are operational. His screens show the Steel Viper's reinforcements arriving from neighboring states, their numbers growing as more bikes roar down country roads toward Willow Creek Farm. But his attention focuses on other displays, readings from ground-penetrating radar, electromagnetic surveys, data that suggests something far more valuable than water rights lies beneath the Anderson property. "Sir," one of his technicians reports, "we're detecting anomalous energy signatures from the target zone. The readings match the patterns from the other sites." Blackwood studies the data, his expression tightening. "How long until the specialized equipment is ready?" 20 minutes to full deployment. "But sir, the local resistance, it's more organized than we anticipated. Anderson's daughter, she's stalling for time, and these readings, they're getting stronger." Through his monitors, Blackwood watches Rachel Anderson maintaining her defensive position, employing tactical awareness that betrays her father's training. His secure phone buzzes with an encrypted message. "Time window closing. If we lose another site, there won't be another opportunity. Activate all assets." Blackwood sends new orders to his field operators, knowing he's about to escalate the situation beyond any possibility of peaceful resolution. At Willow Creek Farm, Rachel notices the shift in the mercenaries' movements. Their deployment pattern changes, becoming more aggressive, more purposeful. The Steel Vipers respond to unseen commands, their intimidation tactics transforming into something more coordinated, more military. "Last chance," Sidewinder announces, but his voice has changed, clipped professional, dropping the biker gang affectation. "Surrender the property rights now, or we do this the hard way." Around him, the other Steel Vipers move with newly revealed tactical precision, their chaotic biker gang facade falling away to reveal trained operators. Through their surveillance feeds, James and Martinez watch the transformation with growing concern. "They're dropping their cover," Martinez observes. "Whatever they're after, they're done playing games." The mercenaries around the farm's perimeter activate their specialized equipment, causing instrument readings to spike across Martinez's tactical displays. "Elisa," James's voice carries deadly calm, "get me everything you have on subsurface anomalies in the area. Something's buried under my farm, something worth all this theatrical deception." His truck system calculates 15 minutes to arrival, but the tactical situation is deteriorating rapidly. Rachel watches as the Steel Vipers shed their gang persona completely, moving into professional combat formations. Behind them, the mercenaries' equipment hums with growing power, creating electromagnetic disturbances that make the air itself feel charged. Her father's lessons replay in her mind. When the enemy changes tactics, they're either desperate or revealing their true nature. Blackwood sends final authorization codes to his field commanders. "Begin primary operations," he orders. "If Anderson arrives before we secure the target, activate Protocol Omega. No witnesses, no evidence, no traces." Around Willow Creek Farm, hidden installations power up as the night's true purpose reveals itself. The Steel Vipers were never just a gang. They were a carefully constructed cover for something far more dangerous. And in the growing darkness, racing against time, Colonel James Anderson realizes he's not just fighting to protect his daughter and his farm. He's racing to prevent something that powerful forces are willing to kill to keep secret. The question is, Will he arrive in time to stop it? In Deputy Martinez's Tactical Operations Center, data streams flow across multiple displays as surveillance drones track Steel Viper reinforcements converging on Willow Creek Farm. Her system flags anomalous energy readings emanating from the specialized equipment being deployed around the property. "Jim," she radios to Anderson, "these signatures, they're like nothing I've seen before. Military grade, but way beyond anything in our databases." Through their secure feeds, they watch the situation at the farm transforming. The Steel Vipers have abandoned all pretense of being a motorcycle gang, their movements now displaying professional military precision. Around them, mercenary teams activate devices that cause electromagnetic disturbances, visible even on thermal imaging. "Cross-reference those energy signatures," James commands, his truck navigating back roads at dangerous speeds. "Check them against classified databases." Martinez's fingers fly across her keyboard, accessing restricted files. "Match found," she reports, her voice tightening. Similar readings were detected at 3 other locations across the country, all agricultural communities, all of which disappeared completely after private military contractors moved in. 20 minutes to full deployment. "But sir, the local resistance, it's more organized than we anticipated. Anderson's daughter, she's stalling for time, and these readings, they're getting stronger." Through his monitors, Blackwood watches. Rachel Anderson maintaining her defensive position, employing tactical awareness that betrays her father's training. His secure phone buzzes with an encrypted message. "Time window closing. If we lose another site, there won't be another opportunity. Activate all assets." Blackwood sends new orders to his field operators, knowing he's about to escalate the situation beyond any possibility of peaceful resolution. At Willow Creek Farm, Rachel notices the shift in the mercenaries' movements. Their deployment pattern changes, becoming more aggressive, more purposeful. The Steel Vipers respond to unseen commands, their intimidation tactics transforming into something more coordinated, more military. "Last chance," Sidewinder announces, but his voice has changed, clipped professional, dropping the biker gang affectation. "Surrender the property rights now, or we do this the hard way." Around him, the other Steel Vipers move with newly revealed tactical precision, their chaotic biker gang facade falling away to reveal trained operators. Through their surveillance feeds, James and Martinez watch the transformation with growing concern. "They're dropping their cover," Martinez observes. "Whatever they're after, they're done playing games." The mercenaries around the farm's perimeter activate their specialized equipment, causing instrument readings to spike across Martinez's tactical displays. "Elisa," James's voice carries deadly calm, "get me everything you have on subsurface anomalies in the area. Something's buried under my farm, something worth all this theatrical deception." His truck system calculates 15 minutes to arrival, but the tactical situation is deteriorating rapidly. Rachel watches as the Steel Vipers shed their gang persona completely, moving into professional combat formations. Behind them, the mercenaries' equipment hums with growing power, creating electromagnetic disturbances that make the air itself feel charged. Her father's lessons replay in her mind. When the enemy changes tactics, they're either desperate or revealing their true nature. Blackwood sends final authorization codes to his field commanders. "Begin primary operations," he orders. "If Anderson arrives before we secure the target, activate Protocol Omega. No witnesses, no evidence, no traces." Around Willow Creek Farm, hidden installations power up as the night's true purpose reveals itself. The Steel Vipers were never just a gang. They were a carefully constructed cover for something far more dangerous. And in the growing darkness, racing against time, Colonel James Anderson realizes he's not just fighting to protect his daughter and his farm. He's racing to prevent something that powerful forces are willing to kill to keep secret. The question is, Will he arrive in time to stop it? In Deputy Martinez's Tactical Operations Center, data streams flow across multiple displays as surveillance drones track Steel Viper reinforcements converging on Willow Creek Farm. Her system flags anomalous energy readings emanating from the specialized equipment being deployed around the property. "Jim," she radios to Anderson, "these signatures, they're like nothing I've seen before, military grade, but way beyond anything in our databases." Through their secure feeds, they watch the situation at the farm transforming. The Steel Vipers have abandoned all pretense of being a motorcycle gang, their movements now displaying professional military precision. Around them, mercenary teams activate devices that cause electromagnetic disturbances, visible even on thermal imaging. "Cross-reference those energy signatures," James commands, his truck navigating back roads at dangerous speeds. "Check them against classified databases." Martinez's fingers fly across her keyboard, accessing restricted files. "Match found," she reports, her voice tightening. Similar readings were detected at 3 other locations across the country, all agricultural communities, all of which disappeared completely after private military contractors moved in. "What's that?" Martinez asks, preparing to switch communications protocols. "They didn't know they were trying to steal from a combat pilot who spent decades preparing for exactly this kind of threat," James responds, his voice carrying absolute certainty. "Get your tactical teams in position. When this goes hot, it's going to go hot fast." Blackwood receives final confirmation that his containment grid is fully operational. "Begin primary sequence," he orders. "If Anderson arrives before we secure the asset, you have authorization for maximum force. Whatever it takes, that structure needs to be contained before it fully activates." Around Willow Creek Farm, the night air fills with electromagnetic disturbance as powerful forces converge. Rachel Anderson stands her ground, gathering intelligence just as her father taught her, watching as the true nature of the threat reveals itself. And racing through the darkness, Colonel James Anderson prepares to confront an enemy that's been hiding beneath his family's farm for generations. The question isn't just whether he'll arrive in time, it's whether anyone is truly prepared for what's about to be unleashed. Through the electronic interference surrounding Willow Creek Farm, James Anderson's tactical displays show him approaching the outer edge of the containment zone. His modified truck systems calculate 8 minutes until arrival, but the situation is deteriorating rapidly. "Alisa," he radios Martinez, "what's the status of our backup teams?" "Former squadron members are in position," Martinez responds, her operations center tracking multiple converging forces. "Your old Apache co-pilot Mike Reynolds has a team covering the north approach. 3 more veterans are moving in from the south. But Jim, these mercenaries, they're deploying some kind of electromagnetic barrier. Standard communications won't penetrate it." Inside the farm's perimeter, Rachel watches as more specialized equipment is unloaded from unmarked vehicles. The devices pulse with strange energy, creating visible distortions in the air around them. Sidewinder, now fully transformed from gang leader to military operator, coordinates with the mercenary teams through encrypted channels. "The containment grid is at 70%, one of the mercenaries reports, his environmental suit sensors, monitoring the growing electromagnetic field. Subsurface readings are increasing. Whatever's down there, it's responding to the activation sequence." In his command center, Blackwood studies data streams from the equipment surrounding Willow Creek Farm. "The asset is becoming more active," his technician announces. "Energy signatures match patterns from the other sites, but these readings, they're orders of magnitude stronger." Blackwood's secure phone lights up with an urgent message. "Asset containment priority Alpha. If control cannot be established, Protocol Omega must be initiated immediately." James's tactical system highlights multiple approach vectors as he formulates his strategy. "Alisa, what do we know about their electronic warfare capabilities?" Through their encrypted channel, Martinez accesses classified databases. Similar systems were used at the other sites before they disappeared. They're designed to isolate the target area completely. No communications in or out, no electronic evidence of what happens inside. Rachel observes the mercenaries' deployment pattern, recognizing military precision in their movements. The Steel Vipers, now revealed as disguised special operators, secure the perimeter with professional efficiency. The containment grid, she addresses Sidewinder, it's not just for keeping people out, is it? It's for keeping something in. Sidewinder studies her with newfound respect. You really are your father's daughter, smart enough to see the bigger picture. He gestures to the equipment creating the electromagnetic barrier. What's buried beneath this farm? It's been here for decades, dormant but not dead. Your family were never just farmers. You were guardians, whether you knew it or not. In the operations center, Martinez's systems detect new energy signatures. Jim, they're activating something else, some kind of quantum field generators. This goes way beyond standard military tech. Whatever they're planning, they're preparing. For every contingency, her radar tracks more unmarked helicopters approaching at low altitude, carrying additional equipment. James processes tactical data as his truck approaches the containment zone. Pull up everything you have on quantum field technology, he commands. Cross-reference it with the other sites that disappeared. Martinez's search reveals disturbing patterns. Jim, these aren't just containment devices. They're designed to alter the fabric of reality itself. If they activate fully, they could erase everything within their radius from existence. Through the farm's surveillance system, they watch as Rachel continues gathering intelligence, noting every detail of the operation unfolding around her. The mercenaries activate more specialized equipment, each device adding to the growing electromagnetic disturbance. Your father's almost here, Sidewinder announces, checking his tactical display, but he's too late. The awakening process has already begun. Blackwood receives updated readings from the subsurface structure. Sir, the asset's energy signature is evolving rapidly. It's not just responding to our equipment anymore, it's adapting to it. His technician's voice carries barely controlled concern. These patterns, it's like it's been waiting for this moment, preparing for our attempts to contain it. James's tactical displays show the electromagnetic barrier strengthening, threatening to cut off his communication with Martinez. Elisa, implement Protocol Thunder. Get our people into position, but hold for my signal. Whatever they're trying to awaken down there, we need to understand what we're dealing with first. Martinez coordinates with the gathered veterans, each one knowing their life to James Anderson's actions in combat zones across the world. Teams in position, she reports. Mike's got eyes on their northern perimeter. Says their quantum field generators are like nothing he's seen before. Way beyond any known military technology. Rachel watches as more mercenaries deploy around the farm, their environmental suits suggesting they're preparing for something beyond simple property seizure. The air crackles with electromagnetic energy as the containment grid approaches full power. What happens, she asks Sidewinder, when whatever's down there finally wakes up? That's what the containment grid is for, he responds, but his voice carries a hint of uncertainty. Once the asset is secured, this whole area gets sanitized. No witnesses, no evidence, no trace that anything unusual ever happened here. Through their surveillance, James and Martinez watch as the mercenaries' true purpose becomes clear. Jim, Martinez radios urgently, these quantum field generators, they're not just for containment. According to these specifications, they're designed to create a localized reality distortion. They could literally rewrite the physical laws within their radius. Her systems track the growing electromagnetic disturbance as more equipment activates. James's tactical displays show him approaching the outer edge of the containment field. Soon, he'll be operating without support, cut off from Martinez's coordination. Elisa, if I lose contact, implement contingency alpha. Whatever's buried under my farm, whatever these people are trying to control, they didn't count on facing. Someone who's spent decades preparing for exactly this kind of threat. The night air fills with electromagnetic disturbance as powerful forces converge on Willow Creek Farm. And in the growing darkness, Colonel James Anderson prepares to confront an enemy that's been hiding beneath his family's land, waiting for this moment to reveal its true nature. The question remains, what happens when decades of secrecy finally unravel and ancient powers awaken to modern attempts at control? Colonel James Anderson's modified truck approaches the outer edge of the electromagnetic barrier surrounding Willow Creek Farm. His tactical displays flicker as the containment field's interference grows stronger. Through the distortion, he watches more mercenary teams deploying specialized equipment around his property, their movements suggesting urgent purpose. Elisa, he radios Martinez, knowing these might be their last moments of communication. What do the geological surveys show about the subsurface structure? In her operations center, Martinez analyzes decades-old data. It's massive, Jim. Whatever they built down there during the Cold War, it extends far beyond your property lines. The energy readings we're detecting, they suggest some kind of experimental power source. Inside the containment zone, Rachel observes the mercenaries' activities with growing concern. The specialized equipment they're activating creates visible distortions in reality itself, making the air ripple like heat waves rising from hot asphalt. Sidewinder coordinates with his teams, his former gang persona completely replaced by military precision. The quantum field generators are at 85% capacity, a mercenary reports through their encrypted channel. Subsurface readings continue to escalate. Sir, the asset's energy signature, it's evolving faster than predicted. Around them, the containment grid pulses with growing power, creating patterns of electromagnetic disturbance that shouldn't be possible with known technology. In his command center, Blackwood receives increasingly disturbing data. The asset isn't just becoming active, his technician announces. It's responding to our containment efforts in ways we didn't anticipate. These energy patterns, they're not random. It's like it's testing our defenses, probing for weaknesses. Blackwood's secure phone lights up with new orders. Asset containment failing. Prepare for Protocol Omega implementation. No witnesses. James's tactical system highlights multiple approach vectors as he formulates his strategy. Mike, he radios to his former co-pilot, what do you see from your position? Through their encrypted channel, Reynolds reports from his observation post. They've got quantum field generators set up in a hexagonal pattern around the farm. The technology, it's like nothing I've seen before, even in classified operations. Rachel studies the mercenaries' deployment pattern, recognizing elements of military strategy in their positioning. The Steel Vipers, now operating as professional tactical teams, secure key points around the property with practiced efficiency. The subsurface structure, she addresses Sidewinder. Your employers didn't just discover it. They've been waiting for this moment, haven't they? Sidewinder's expression shows grudging admiration for her insight. Your father trained you well. The Cold War installation beneath this farm, it wasn't just about weapons research. They found something down there, something that changed everything they thought they knew about physics, about reality itself. He gestures to the quantum field generators creating the containment barrier. This technology, it was developed specifically to control what they discovered. In her operations center, Martinez's systems detect new energy signatures emerging from beneath Willow Creek Farm. Jim, these readings, they're off the charts. Whatever's down there, it's not just responding to their equipment anymore, it's awakening. Her radar tracks more unmarked aircraft approaching at low altitude, carrying additional containment devices. James processes tactical data as his truck reaches the edge of the electromagnetic barrier. Elisa, implement protocol Thunderstrike. Get our people ready for full-spectrum electronic warfare. Through their surveillance, they watch as Rachel continues gathering intelligence, noting every detail of the operation unfolding around her. The mercenaries activate more specialized equipment, each device adding to the growing reality distortion. Blackwood receives urgent updates from his field teams. Sir, the asset's energy signature has evolved beyond our containment parameters. These patterns, they match theoretical models for quantum consciousness. It's not just a power source or a weapon, it's aware. His technician's voice shakes slightly. And sir, I think it's been waiting for us. Through the farm's hidden cameras, James and Martinez watch as the true nature of the threat becomes clear. The mercenaries aren't just trying to seize property or control a Cold War weapon. They're attempting to contain something that defies conventional understanding. Your father, Sidewinder tells Rachel, checking his tactical display. He's almost here, but he doesn't understand what he's walking into. None of you do. James's communications with Martinez begin to break up as the containment field strengthens. Elisa, one last thing. Access Operation Stormbreak files. Authorization Anderson Delta 9. Martinez's eyes widen as classified documents fill her screens. Jim, these files, the installation under your farm, it wasn't just a research facility. It was a door, wasn't it? A door to something they never should have opened. Rachel watches as more mercenaries deploy around the farm, their environmental suits now making terrible sense. The air crackles with electromagnetic energy as reality itself seems to bend around the quantum field generators. When it fully awakens, she asks Sidewinder, can you really control it? Or are you just providing the power it needs to break free? That's what we're about to find out, he responds, but uncertainty edges his voice. Through their failing surveillance feeds, James and Martinez watch as the operation's true purpose reveals itself. The mercenaries aren't trying to contain a weapon or secure a power source. They're attempting to control something that's been manipulating events for decades, guiding human development toward this precise moment. James's tactical displays flicker and die as he breaches the outer edge of the containment field. In the last moments before communications fail completely, he transmits one final message to Martinez. Whatever happens next, remember, some forces can't be controlled. They can only be understood. The night air fills with impossible energy as ancient powers stir beneath Willow Creek Farm, preparing to reveal secrets that have waited decades to emerge. As Colonel James Anderson drives into the electromagnetic storm surrounding his property, one truth becomes clear. The real battle isn't just about protecting his daughter or his farm. It's about preventing forces beyond human comprehension from breaking free into an unprepared world. Colonel James Anderson penetrates the electromagnetic barrier, his modified truck systems struggling against the containment field's interference. On thermal imaging, he sees the mercenary teams converging on the center of his farm, their specialized equipment pulsing with otherworldly energy. Colonel Anderson, a familiar voice crackles through his radio, barely audible over the static. This is Blackwood. You're walking into something you can't possibly understand. James's jaw tightens as he recognizes the voice from his past. Marcus Blackwood, I should have known you'd be involved in something like this. You have no idea what we're dealing with here. Blackwood continues, his tone urgent. The asset under your farm. It's not just a power source or a weapon. It's an intelligence, and it's been waiting for this moment. Around James's truck, reality ripples as the quantum field generators strain to contain an awakening force. Daddy! Rachel's voice cuts through the distortion. They're activating something. The equipment, it's responding to to something rising from underneath us. James floors the accelerator, tactical systems plotting a path through the chaos. "I'm coming, Rachel. Just hold on." The ground shakes as ancient machinery hidden beneath Willow Creek Farm starts to move for the first time in decades. Sidewinder and his teams struggle to maintain control as their readings spike beyond predicted levels. The asset, one mercenary, who shouts, "It's not just awakening, it's breaking free!" Rachel races toward the barn, remembering her father's instructions about emergency situations. Inside, she finds a hidden panel and activates a sequence of switches, praying that her father's paranoia has prepared them for this moment. Across the farm, concealed defense systems power up, fighting against the electromagnetic interference. James swerves around erupting patches of earth as subterranean structures breach the surface. His tactical display shows his veteran teams engaging the mercenaries, chaos erupting across the containment zone. "Colonel Anderson," Blackwood pleads over the radio, "you have to stop. If this asset fully activates, there's no telling what it could do." But James isn't listening anymore. His attention is fixed on the glowing fissure opening at the heart of his farm, ancient metal and impossible technology rising from the depths. And at the center of it all stands Rachel, her eyes wide with a mixture of terror and awe as she faces an intelligence that has waited lifetimes to be discovered. As reality buckles around them and decades of secrets unravel, James charges forward to confront the true legacy buried beneath his land, a legacy that now threatens to reshape the world forever. James Anderson leaps from his truck, racing toward the epicenter of the electromagnetic maelstrom. Around him, the fabric of reality warps and distorts as ancient technology erupts from beneath Willow Creek Farm. Overhead, cloaked aircraft decloak, revealing themselves as black triangles that defy conventional aerodynamics. "Rachel!" James shouts, his voice swallowed by the rising wind. His daughter stands at the heart of the chaos, transfixed by the pulsing fissure that spills otherworldly light across the landscape. She turns as he approaches, her expression a mixture of fear and wonder. "Dad, it's alive," she breathes, gesturing to the impossible machinery emerging from the earth. "I can feel it, like it's been waiting for this moment." James pulls her close, shielding her as reality shivers around them. In the distance, he sees his veteran teams clashing with Blackwood's mercenaries, flashes of weaponry illuminating the night. "Colonel Anderson," Blackwood's voice crackles over the radio, "you have to understand, this asset, it's not just a machine, it's an interface, a doorway to something beyond our understanding." James grits his teeth, pulling Rachel toward the defensive perimeter. "All I understand, Marcus, is that you're messing with forces you can't control." The ground heaves as more of the ancient structure breaks the surface, towering pylons of metal and crystal that hum with impossible energy. Sidewinder and his teams fall back, their equipment sparking and shattering as the electromagnetic pulse intensifies. "Sir!" one mercenary cries, "we're losing containment. The asset, it's breaking through our defenses." In her operations center, Deputy Martinez watches in disbelief as satellite imagery shows the expanding disturbance. The containment field flickers and fails, allowing a surge of raw energy to propagate outward from Willow Creek Farm. "Jim," she radios frantically, "it's spreading. Whatever they've awakened, it's rewriting reality." James pushes Rachel behind cover as the world turns inside out around them. The ancient structure pulses with blinding light, tendrils of energy snaking outward to ensnare the struggling mercenaries. Blackwood's voice rises in a scream over the radio, then cuts off abruptly as his command center is engulfed. "Rachel, listen to me," James shouts over the building roar. "We have to get to the backup site. Your grandfather left instructions, Fail-safes in case this day ever came. Rachel nods, fear and determination warring in her eyes. Together, they run toward the hidden bunker, fighting against the unraveling of everything they've ever known. Behind them, the intelligence buried beneath Willow Creek Farm rises fully into the world, ancient and newborn and utterly beyond human comprehension. As James and Rachel race to uncover secrets left behind by previous generations, they realize the true fight is just beginning. A fight to understand and survive the dawn of a new reality. In the hidden bunker beneath Willow Creek Farm, James Anderson frantically scans the files left behind by his grandfather. Outside, the world continues to reshape itself, ancient technology merging with modern reality in ways that defy explanation. Rachel watches the external cameras in horror as pockets of altered physics expand across the landscape. "Here," James says urgently, pulling up a schematic on a dusty monitor. "Your grandfather knew this day might come. He left a contingency plan, a way to communicate with whatever's out there." The diagram shows a complex series of crystalline structures, each one resonating at a specific frequency. "Communicate?" Rachel asks incredulously. "Dad, that thing, it's not just technology, it's alive and it's rewriting the world." James nods grimly, downloading the schematic to a portable drive. "I know. But if we can establish a link, maybe we can understand what it wants, why it's doing this." Above them, the bunker shudders as waves of energy wash across the farm. The external cameras show fleeting glimpses of impossible landscapes, fractured skies, ghostly figures, pockets of altered time. James checks his weapon, the weight familiar in his hands. "We have to reach the communication array. It's our only chance." Rachel follows her father out of the bunker, steeling herself against the chaos that awaits them. The farm has become a surreal patchwork of shifting realities, ancient machinery fusing with the landscape in dizzying patterns. In the distance, they can see the towering core of the awakened intelligence, tendrils of energy lashing out to ensnare anything that comes too close. "Colonel Anderson," a voice whispers from a nearby patch of distorted space. James spins, weapon ready, only to see a ghostly figure emerge from the fissure. It's Blackwood, or what's left of him, a spectral outline barely tethered to reality. "You can't stop it," the figure rasps, its voice echoing from multiple points in space and time. "It's too late. It's everywhere." James pushes forward, shielding Rachel as they navigate the shifting terrain. Around them, pockets of altered physics twist and deform, revealing glimpses of other places, other times. They see fragments of ancient civilizations, futuristic cities, landscapes that defy description, all connected by the pulsing tendrils of the awakened intelligence. "There!" Rachel shouts, pointing to a shimmering array of crystals rising from the earth. "That must be the communication structure." They fight their way toward it, reality bending and warping with every step. James pulls out the portable drive, frantically trying to align the crystals according to his grandfather's schematic. The structure pulses with energy as the final piece slots into place. A beam of coherent light lancing up into the fractured sky. For a moment, everything goes still. The shifting landscapes, the ghostly figures, the tendrils of the awakened intelligence. And then, with a roar that shakes the fabric of reality itself, the ancient entity sends a response. Images flood into James and Rachel's minds. An impossible history stretching back to the dawn of time, a story of a civilization that transcended the bounds of physical existence. They see the intelligence as it was before its long slumber, a vast and interconnected web of consciousness that spanned galaxies. They feel its curiosity, its longing, its desire to be understood. And then, just as suddenly the connection breaks, the communication array shatters, crystals spinning off into the chaos. James and Rachel are left standing in the eye of the storm, the awakened intelligence pulsing around them in patterns that dance on the edge of comprehension. "We have to tell them," Rachel whispers, tears streaming down her face. "We have to. Let the world know what's happening here." James nods, his mind still reeling from the contact. "We will. But first, we have to survive. Whatever it wants, whatever its intentions. We're a part of its plan now, and we have to be ready for what comes next." Together, father and daughter set out across the transformed landscape of Willow Creek Farm, determined to unravel the secrets of the ancient intelligence that now shapes their world. The battle for understanding has only just begun, and the future of humanity hangs in the balance. News of the events at Willow Creek Farm spreads like wildfire, shocking the world. Governments and scientific organizations scramble to understand the implications of an awakened intelligence reshaping reality itself. Amidst the chaos, James and Rachel Anderson become both witnesses and interpreters, their minds touched by the vast consciousness. "It's not hostile," James insists in an emergency UN Council session. "The intelligence. It doesn't think like we do. It's trying to communicate, to share knowledge." On screen, scenes of altered landscapes flicker past. Impossible cities blooming from reshaped Earth, technological marvels merging with nature in dizzying patterns. "But at what cost?" a delegate demands. "It's rewriting our world, our very understanding of physics. How can we trust an entity with that kind of power?" James looks to Rachel, seeing the same determination in her eyes that he feels in his heart. "We have to try," he says firmly. "We've been given an opportunity here, a chance to learn from a consciousness far beyond our own. We can't let fear guide our actions." As the debate rages on, Rachel slips away to walk amidst the transformed grounds of Willow Creek Farm. The pulsing tendrils of the intelligence brush against her thoughts, whispers of an ancient history unfolding in her mind. She sees visions of countless worlds shaped by its influence, civilizations rising and falling like the tides. "What do you want?" she whispers, her words carried on the shimmering air. "Why did you choose us? Choose this place?" The intelligence responds with a flood of sensation, curiosity, longing, a desperate desire to share the wonders it has seen. Rachel feels the weight of eons pressing against her mind, a vast and intricate web of knowledge seeking a new home. In the depths of the farm, the ancient structure pulses with renewed purpose. Tendrils of energy snake outward, seeding the earth with a merging of technology and nature. Beneath the soil, sentient roots spread and grow, tapping into the long-dormant network that has waited for this moment of awakening. James finds Rachel amidst the whispering fields, her eyes aglow with the shared intelligence. "It's not just here," she breathes. "The network, it spans the whole planet. It's been waiting, sleeping, and now—" She gestures to the transformed landscape, each blade of grass shimmering with its own inner light. Around the world, the shifts continue. Ancient monuments awakening, hidden technology rising from long-forgotten sites. The intelligence unfolds itself with patient inevitability, weaving its consciousness into the fabric of reality. People report strange dreams, visions of a future where man and machine merge into something new and extraordinary. As the old world unravels, James and Rachel stand at the heart of the change, watching the dawn of a new era. The intelligence whispers through their thoughts, a guiding presence as they navigate the uncharted territory of a reality reshaped. "We have a responsibility here," James says softly, "to guide this process, to help humanity understand what's happening. It's a brave new world out there, and we're the bridge between what was and what will be." Rachel nods, feeling the currents of knowledge flowing through her, the wonder and the terror of an existence expanding beyond all limits. Together, they walk into a future filled with challenges and possibilities, knowing that their role as interpreters has only just begun. The long-buried secrets are unfolding at last, and the world will never be the same. But with understanding comes hope, the chance to shape a destiny that's written in the stars themselves. James and Rachel Anderson stand ready to face the unknown, armed with the knowledge and wisdom of an intelligence that has waited eons to be understood. For in this merging of past and future, mankind may finally find the answers it has sought since the dawn of time, and the destiny that awaits among the cosmic wonders of a universe reborn. As the world grapples with the reality of an awakened alien intelligence, Colonel James Anderson and his daughter Rachel find themselves at the forefront of a new era. Governments and scientists from around the globe converge on Willow Creek Farm, seeking to understand the ancient technology that has reshaped the very fabric of existence. Amidst the chaos, James and Rachel act as interpreters and ambassadors, their minds linked to the vast consciousness that now permeates the planet. They share glimpses of the wonders and knowledge that flow through their thoughts, painting a picture of a future where humanity and the alien intelligence work together to unlock the secrets of the universe. "It's not here to conquer or destroy," James explains to a group of world leaders. "The intelligence wants to guide us, to help us evolve beyond our current limitations." He gestures to the transformed landscape of the farm, where towering structures of crystalline technology rise alongside fields of whispering sentient plants. It's offering us a path forward, a chance to become something greater than we ever imagined. But not everyone is ready to embrace the change. Fear and paranoia grip many as ancient power structures crumble in the face of the unknown. Some call for the destruction of the alien technology, demanding a return to the familiar world they once knew. Others see opportunity in the chaos, seeking to harness the power of the intelligence for their own gain. Through it all, Rachel remains a steady presence at her father's side. The knowledge shared by the alien consciousness has changed her, granting her insights into the workings of the universe that defy human understanding. She becomes a teacher and a guide, helping others to navigate the shifting landscape of their new reality. "We're at a tipping point," she tells a rapt audience of scientists and philosophers. "The intelligence is offering us a choice: to cling to our old ways and face the limitations of our current existence, or to embrace the change and step into a future of boundless potential." Her words resonate, sparking hope and excitement in those who dare to dream of what humanity might become. As the days turn into weeks and months, the world begins to adapt to its new reality. The alien technology becomes integrated into every aspect of life, from energy production and transportation to medicine and communication. Humanity starts to evolve both physically and mentally as the symbiotic relationship with the intelligence deepens. But even as progress marches forward, challenges arise. Some struggle to keep pace with the rapid changes, their minds and bodies unable to adapt to the demands of the new world. Others resist the influence of the intelligence, fearing the loss of their individuality and free will. James and Rachel work tirelessly to bridge the gaps, to ensure that no one is left behind in the great leap forward. And through it all, the intelligence watches and guides, its ancient wisdom shaping the path of human evolution. It shares visions of the countless civilizations it has touched before, of the wonders and marvels that await those who are willing to embrace the unknown. The whispers of the sentient fields become a constant presence, a reminder of the incredible journey that lies ahead. Years pass, and humanity continues to evolve and adapt. The once familiar world has given way to a new reality, one where the boundaries between man and machine, nature and technology have blurred beyond recognition. And at the heart of it all stand James and Rachel Anderson, father and daughter, witnesses and shapers of a future beyond imagination. As they look out over the transformed landscape of Willow Creek Farm, now a shining beacon of the new era, they know that their journey has only just begun. The secrets buried beneath the soil have given way to a truth that will guide humanity for generations to come. A truth of endless possibility, of a universe waiting to be explored. And so, with hearts full of hope and minds expanded by the wisdom of an ancient intelligence, James and Rachel lead the way into a brave new world, ready to embrace the challenges and wonders of a future that knows no bounds. The long-buried secrets have been revealed, and the destiny of humanity now lies in the stars themselves, waiting to be claimed by those with the courage to reach for it. Thank you for listening to this story. If you enjoyed it, be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more exciting sci-fi adventures. Your support means the world. Until next time. Part 12. In the days and weeks following the awakening at Willow Creek Farm, the world struggled to come to terms with the new reality that had been unleashed. Governments and scientists alike grappled with the implications of an ancient intelligence that had the power to reshape the very fabric of existence. At the center of it all, James and Rachel Anderson found themselves thrust into the role of interpreters, their minds linked to the vast consciousness in ways they were only beginning to understand. As the transformed landscape of the farm continued to evolve, strange new structures sprouted from the earth like seeds of a future yet to come. Crystalline spires rose alongside towering trees, their branches intertwined with glowing filaments that pulsed with the heartbeat of the awakened intelligence. The air shimmered with energy, and every living thing seemed to vibrate with a newfound purpose. James and Rachel walked amidst the wonders, their eyes filled with equal parts awe and trepidation. The intelligence whispered through their thoughts, a constant presence that guided their actions and shaped their perceptions. They saw the world through a lens of cosmic understanding, the petty concerns of humanity fading away in the face of the greater truths that had been revealed. "It's not just about us anymore," Rachel said softly, her hand resting on the trunk of a tree that glowed with inner light. "The intelligence, it's part of a network that spans the stars themselves. We're just one small piece of a much greater puzzle." James nodded, his mind filled with visions of countless worlds touched by the same presence. "We have to be careful," he warned. "The power we're dealing with here, it's beyond anything we've ever known. We have to make sure we use it wisely." As news of the events at Willow Creek Farm spread, people from all walks of life began to flock to the site, drawn by the promise of a new world order. Some came as pilgrims, seeking enlightenment and purpose in the face of the unknown. Others came as scientists, eager to study the strange new phenomena that defied all known laws of physics. And still others came as opportunists, looking to exploit the power of the awakened intelligence for their own gain. James and Rachel found themselves at the center of a growing movement, their words and actions shaping the course of human history. They spoke to crowds of thousands, sharing the wisdom of the intelligence and guiding humanity towards a future that was both terrifying and exhilarating in its possibilities. But even as they worked to bring about a new era of understanding, there were those who sought to resist the change. Governments and corporations alike saw the awakened intelligence as a threat to their power, and they moved to contain and control the spread of its influence. Private militaries were deployed to the farm, armed with advanced weaponry and technology, designed to suppress the strange new energies that flowed through the land. James and Rachel found themselves caught in the middle of a growing conflict, their every move watched and analyzed by those who sought to use them for their own ends. They knew that they were walking a dangerous path, one that could lead to either salvation or destruction for all of humanity. As the days turned into weeks and the weeks into months, the world continued to change in ways that defied all prediction. The awakened intelligence spread its tendrils across the globe, seeding new wonders and terrors in every corner of the earth. Ancient ruins came to life, their secrets revealed after centuries of slumber. Strange new creatures emerged from the depths of the oceans, their forms and abilities unlike anything ever seen before. And through it all, James and Rachel remained at the heart of the transformation, their bond with the intelligence growing stronger with each passing day. They knew that they were being tested, their every decision shaping the course of the future in ways they could only begin to imagine. As the first anniversary of the awakening approached, the Andersons found themselves standing at the center of a global celebration, their names and faces known to billions. The farm had become a place of pilgrimage, a sacred site where the boundaries between technology and nature had been forever blurred. But even as they basked in the adulation of the crowds, James and Rachel knew that their work was far from over. The intelligence had shared with them a vision of the future, a glimpse of the wonders and dangers that lay ahead. They knew that they would be called upon to make difficult choices in the years to come, choices that would determine the fate of not just humanity, but of all life in the universe. As the sun set over the transformed landscape of Willow Creek Farm, James and Rachel stood hand in hand, their eyes turned towards the stars. They knew that the road ahead would be long and hard, filled with challenges and sacrifices that they could only begin to imagine. But they also knew that they had been chosen for a reason, their minds and hearts uniquely suited to the task of guiding humanity towards its ultimate destiny. With a final nod to the pulsing heart of the intelligence, James and Rachel turned to face the gathered crowds, their voices ringing out with the wisdom of the ages. They spoke of the need for unity and understanding, of the importance of embracing change and letting go of the fears and prejudices that had held humanity back for so long. They spoke of the wonders that awaited those who were willing to open their minds and hearts to the possibilities of the future, and of the dangers that lurked in the shadows for those who clung to the ways of the past. As the night wore on and the celebrations continued, James and Rachel slipped away from the crowds, their steps taking them deeper into the transformed landscape of the farm. They walked in silence, their minds and hearts filled with the weight of the responsibility that had been placed upon their shoulders. But even as they pondered the challenges that lay ahead, they knew that they were not alone. The intelligence was with them always, guiding their steps and illuminating their path. And all around them, the world continued to change and grow, the seeds of a new tomorrow taking root in the fertile soil of the present. James and Rachel Anderson had started out as simple farmers, their lives bound to the rhythms of the land and the turning of the seasons. But now they found themselves at the center of a cosmic drama, their every action rippling out across the fabric of space and time. They knew that they had been chosen for a reason, their love for each other and for the world around them serving as a beacon of hope in a time of great uncertainty. And so, as the dawn of a new day broke over the horizon, James and Rachel stood, tall and proud, their eyes fixed on the future, and their hearts filled with the knowledge that they were part of something greater than themselves. They knew that the road ahead would be long and hard, but they also knew that they would face it together, guided by the wisdom of the ages and the love that had brought them to this moment. The awakening at Willow Creek Farm had changed everything, but it was only the beginning. As James and Rachel walked forward into the unknown, they did so with the knowledge that they were part of a story that had been unfolding since the dawn of time itself. And whatever challenges lay ahead, they knew that they would face them with courage and determination, secure in the knowledge that they were exactly where they were meant to be. For the intelligence that had slumbered beneath the farm for so long had chosen them for a reason. And now, as they stepped forward into the light of a new day, they knew that they would not falter or fail. They were the guardians of a new tomorrow, the shepherds of a future that was yet to be written. And with every step they took, they brought that future closer to fruition, their love and their faith serving as a beacon of hope for all the world to see. Thanks for joining me for this story. If you enjoyed it, I'd love to have you subscribe so you can be notified of future stories and installments. Subscribing is a great way to show your support and ensure you don't miss out on any new content. I appreciate each and every one of my listeners. Your subscription means a lot to me and helps motivate me to keep writing and sharing these tales with you. So please take a moment to hit that subscribe button before you go. Thanks again for listening and for being a valued member of this storytelling community. I look forward to bringing you more exciting stories soon.